Hey guys, Dave, the Action Movie Archivist, back at you with my science fiction movie reviews, episode 3. Today I'm going to talk about the 2007 video independent science fiction film, Millennium Crisis. This was distributed by Shakorama Films, directed by Andrew Bellware, written by Andrew and Anthony Litton and Laura Schlachtmeyer. So what we've got here is an absolutely zero-budget, independent science fiction film, the plot of which centers around Aurora, played by Clare Stevenson. I believe she's British, maybe Australian, not sure. Anyway, Aurora is an alien, sort of a misfit alien. She's in this non-Terran environment, some other planetary system, where she's kind of like a civil servant with several other intergalactic species, and she just doesn't quite fit in. They kind of give her shit and whatever. Anyway, she loses her job, ends up getting a gig escorting this android out to another solar system, another planetary system that's kind of embroiled in sort of a interspecies conflict. There's kind of a war that's beginning to get started, and so for whatever reason, she, needing the cash, I guess, takes this job wherein the kind of a, I don't know what you would call him, but anyway, the guy played by Ato Essandoh, he sort of manipulates Aurora into becoming more of an active participant in this insurgency or terrorism or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, cover art's nice. I like that cover art. Yeah, that's kind of cool there. Yeah, like I said, this is, wow, this is probably the worst made film that I've seen in a very long time. But, hold on, let's take a step back. And there's some good to this. I mean, alright. If you're a fan of science fiction at all, you should be able to, upon watching this movie, see a lot of the little things that they've done, little homages to films like Star Wars, The Terminator, Fifth Element, even Kill Bill. There's some, you'll see a lot of similarities, little bits and pieces that the director and the writers have lifted from those films, and that's pretty cool. You know, that's kind of enjoyable. Also, if you notice from the cover art there, up in the corner, it shows as top billing Ted Raimi. We all know Ted Raimi. He's a Michigan boy. He's done a lot of low-budget stuff. He's a great guy. He's not top billed in this. He shouldn't be top billed in this film. He plays the role of Professor August Keene, and it's a small part. It's thankfully not just like a single scene and he's out the door, collect a paycheck, pay a bill. But it's his role is small. He's in a handful of scenes, and he actually does advance the plot, or his character helps advance the plot. His presence is more than just star power, if you want to call it that. He actually imparts some knowledge to our main character, Aurora, regarding her origins and where she comes from, and maybe her destiny and things like that. So, credit to Ted for stepping in on this film and giving it a Ted performance, which was enjoyable. And the acting is decent in other places. Clare Stevenson herself, a little rough to start with. Almost think they might have filmed this in sequence, but she kind of comes across pretty well, pretty decently acts her part. She's only been in one other film besides this one. It's not a genre film. I don't know what the hell it is. I don't remember. Look it up on IMDb. But and then she kind of disappeared. So I don't know. She seemed to have potential. And then there was another actress, total one and done. This is the only film she's been in. It was a minor role. It wasn't a bit part. It was a minor role. Jennifer Gordon-Thomas, and she played the role of Lexi, Aurora's boss. And I don't know. That seemed pretty. No, actually, it wasn't her boss. It was co-worker. But anyway, surprised I even knew that after watching this. But anyway, she did pretty good. But she disappeared too. And what are you gonna do? So there's some decent acting is there. and speaking of Jennifer Gordon-Thomas, there's a liberal dosage of boobage. So Claire don't want to spoil anything, but I just did. But anyway, there's a decent amount of eye candy going on, decent amount of skin, so that's a positive. And I'll give the director and the writers credit. They had no budget, but they make the best of what they did have, and that shows a lot of imagination, shows a lot of care. They cared about what they were doing, I think, and they did the best with what they had. The sets were much more than just garbage bags and oil drums. Okay, they did a lot of they made a lot of an attempt to dress things up, and I got to give them credit for that. They tried. They're imaginative. Appreciate that. And then the cover art's nice. So now as far as what brings this film down, how much time you got, really, because holy cow. Start off by nearly every scene, and you can kind of almost see it here. Nearly every scene is filmed through some sort of gel filter, at least one. Okay, so things are just kind of it's hard to discern. Things are just really fuzzy. And then on top of that, they've got a smoke generator going all the damn time. And I get that is to mask the fact that they're filming in some dude's garage. And okay, I appreciate that. But when you combine those two, it really makes for a blurry, non-distinct sort of visual. And I don't know, maybe that's what the director was going for. If he was, he achieved it, but it still blows. Okay, and then there's a lot of the action is backlit, and not just the action, but the dialogue. You'll have a character speaking with another character, okay, and then there's this big fucking light right behind them. So it's not almost, but they're silhouetted basically, and of course it's through a colored gel filter, and man, so it's hard enough to follow the story. The story is very complex, okay? There's multiple alien races that are all invented words. There are multiple planetary systems that we're dealing with here that are all invented words. And things are edited in such a way, it's a really choppy editing. And so you're trying to keep all these characters straight, trying to keep all the alien races straight. And, is that a Cloduthu, or is that a Nosferatu? What the fuck is it? And then you just can't see shit going on. Who is she talking to? I can't make. So it's a complex story that I give the credit to the writers for coming up with something like that, but they just kind of blew it when it came to putting everything together. Thankfully, they've edited down below 90 minutes. It's like 85 minutes, 81 minutes, something like that. But anyway, so yeah, and then the establishing shots are just absolutely ridiculous. They usually use these establishing shots to show some planetary surface or a space station or a starship traveling between systems or whatever, and it's all artwork. It's all drawing, and it's all done. It's kind of, I don't know, it's really amateurish, let's put it that way. I mean, and maybe it looks much better if it weren't so distorted and so blurry and so, I don't know. So the establishing shots were kind of ridiculous. Tie that along with the other special effects. They've got a couple of blasters. Most of the actual fighting is done with swords, which is interesting. But they do have some blasters that they use, and it's all CGI. Weird sound effects. The CGI is really bad. Yeah, there's actually a special feature on here and about the special effects. I didn't watch it. I mean, to me, that's kind of like the Detroit Lions. They just lost 45-10 to Kansas City, and it would be like the Lions putting together a featurette on, hey guys, we just got our asses really kicked, and here's how we did it. Who wants to see that? I watched it live. I don't need to see how you fucked up, okay? Anyway, maybe that was a little harsh. I'm sure the guys who did the effects are proud of them, but... And again, they didn't have a lot to work with, so... And then there's the acting, other than those that I've mentioned already. Actually, this Ato Essandoh, I really don't know much about this guy. Apparently, according to his IMDb credits, he's been in a bunch of TV shows. He actually had some minor roles in some major films. Django Unchained, Blood Diamonds. I think that was it, maybe. Anyway, I don't remember him from any of those movies. But he was pretty wooden here. He wasn't the greatest actor. And the rest of the cast, a lot of it was just eye candy. But they were pretty. It was pretty tough to watch. And a lot of them played androids, so maybe they were going for the android thing. Not so sure. Star Trek's Data. That dude's an android. These guys maybe should have checked that out before. Maybe that's one of the things. They put a lot of homages in there. Maybe they should have checked something out from Star Trek to kind of spruce up the acting. I don't know, but and a lot of these characters, or a lot of these actors and actresses were one and dones. So. So yeah, I guess I'll just stop it there. Review's getting kind of long. I could just go on and on and on. But having said all of that, I'll give this a 1.5 stars out of 5, and I do that because it is enjoyable. Ted Raimi, when he's on screen, he makes it enjoyable. You kind of actually do care for Aurora. Claire does a good job of. She just does a good job, okay? She's not great, but you kind of care who is she? How's this going to work out? So there's that, and then the eye candy. I got to give credit for that, and the cover art's nice. It's kind of cool cover art. And actually, if you look at the rest of his movies, Andrew Bellware's movies, the cover art was he does a great job with the covers. So they definitely put some money into the packaging. I think I might even check out some of his other stuff. As bad as this one was, I'm intrigued. The guy seems to care. The guy seems to really enjoy science fiction. He tries with what he has, so let's give him a shot. Alright, well guys, that's Millennium Crisis, 2007, direct-to-video. Didn't make a lot of money. I think it broke even according to Andrew's website. Maybe if you're really, really in the mood for some real shitty science fiction, give it a try. Otherwise, probably stay away. Alright? Thanks a lot for hanging out, guys, and I'll see you next time.